In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can turn your game from looking like this to this. So let's not waste any more time and get right into the first important setting. Okay, so first thing you want to do for this first important tip is head to your Nvidia control panel and head to adjust desktop color settings. And in there, we're going to be adjusting the most crucial setting when it comes to seeing people in darker areas. So currently all my settings on this page are set to default, and look how hard it is to see in dark areas on this image. And the one setting on this page that makes all the difference is the gamma slider. Pay attention to how clearer and easier to see this image is as I up the gamma on this. The higher you have the setting, the more brighter the scene becomes, but just be careful you don't make it too bright because it can cause a lot of eye strain, and for that reason, I like to have mine sitting at around the 1.39 mark. But also notice how much of a difference this makes on the left side as well, where as soon as I change it back to default settings, that corridor becomes extremely dark, and it would be a lot harder to notice a PMC sitting there. I don't tend to play around with the brightness or the contrast because messing too much with these settings can cause the color to become a bit washed out and the game won't look that good after you do that. But if you're not worried about how the game looks, then feel free to completely change any option on here to find what suits you best. And finally, the last little thing I like to change on this page is upping the digital vibrance to 55%, which just gives the color a little bit more of a pop. Okay, so here are the PostFX that you saw at the start of the video. Feel free to copy them if you want. This is what I feel makes the game look the best, and I'll show you a couple of clips here of what the game looks like with and without them on. Okay, so moving on to graphics settings, there's not much I use here that's too out of the norm, but we'll start off with the screen resolution. It's 1920 by 1080, that's what I use for my native monitor resolution. Full screen for best FPS. Texture quality, I like having that on high, it makes the game look a lot nicer. Same with the shadow quality, but if you want the best performance, I would turn this to low. Object LOD quality, I have this on 3 because this makes things like loot, for example, render in for me from further away, so I don't have to walk right up the shelves like on Exchange, for example, to get the loot to spawn in. Overall visibility, I notice no visible or performance impact on this, so I just like leaving it at 1000. Anti-aliasing TAA, this just makes the game image look a lot smoother. You also notice movement in the background a lot easier with this on. If you have this off, it just makes the image very jagged and sharp. Resampling off, DLSS off unless you need it for the extra FPS boost. Same with the AMD one for AMD users. HBAO and SSR, this just basically includes things with like the finer details, so like surface reflections and water quality, etc. This makes the game look a lot nicer, but this does take a few FPS off you, so I just like having this off. Nvidia Reflex low latency on and boost. Sharpness 0.5 for me, just for recording purposes. This makes the recordings look a bit nicer, but if you want it a bit sharper for a clearer image, feel free to do that. And then all these options down here, untick them. It just makes the game look a lot more blurrier and a lot more noise on it, so I like to have them off. So now that you can see better in Tarkov, go and check out my video that gives you some tips on how you can survive more often. And let me know what you think about the PostFX and settings down in the comments below.